Hello, everybody. This is Brother Chooch. Thinking out loud about the end times. And thank you for tuning in to Night Watch. Now, I'm not sure if you could hear me or not. I don't have my best microphone out. But if you could hear me, give me a thumbs up before I get started because this is a whiteboard demonstration and you're not going to see my face. Besides that blessing, we're going to talk about the days that we live in right now. Because we know that right now, TOL End Times did something that it hasn't done, I don't know if ever, because what happened was we went from a RapCon. Let's see, this is a guide marker. Right, I have red is not working. And I'm a little self-conscious because I have hairy hands. So this is not T-bone writing. My hands are not going to make a commercial for Palmolive anytime soon. But if you could get past that, it's not T-bone writing. It's not a primate. It's me. But if you notice here, you have RapCon and TOL went from RapCon 2 to RapCon 1. So what does that mean? Well, that simply means that we have a rating system of high watch times. And RapCon 2 is an extremely high watch time. And it switched over to RapCon 1, which is actually, it's like an eye bulging, eye protruding high watch time. Okay? So if you stop and think about, let's see here, a typical eye socket, right? Typical eye socket is a bone, I believe, and the eyeball rests inside this bone. Right? And of course, as you know, there's little veins and stuff that on the eye. But when it's RapCon 1, what happens is a phenomenon where this eye socket that normally holds the eyeball, right, actually, for the watchman, comes out of the eye socket and looks up. It's locked on heavenward. So this is an extreme watch time, right? Having said that, again, TOL does not like to go to RapCon 1 unless it's completely necessary. And I'm going to explain why we're at RapCon 1. Now, if we get to, let's say, the beginning of July, there's a good chance that the board is going to take us out of RapCon 2, out of RapCon 1 and put us at RapCon 2 again. But there's something about this, especially this week, and I know a lot of people have this date in mind. This is a date of interest, June 15th. And the question is why? Why is June 15th the date of interest? Now, this is not about setting dates, so stop with your torches and your pitchforks. We're not setting a date. We're looking at a date. We're asking, what is the significance, if there is any significance, to this date? And that's what, again, it might be in this area of time and it might not. But here's some interesting things about June 15th. If you go back to the Revelation 12 sign, that happened on 9/23/17. If you were to add 1,726 days from this date, you will get 6/15/22. Now, that in itself might not seem all that significant, right? But you should be familiar with this number if you're a watcher, because we know that in strong, 726 is harpazo. Now, I would have been probably happy if 726 days after the Revelation 12 sign that we got harpazo, but we're actually 1,726. Now, why is they're significant about 1,000? Well, we think about the millennial reign. Yes, that's a 1,000-year reign. I just think this is an interesting number, going from here to here. So that's one thing that is of somewhat interest. And if it was just that, I would say, don't even make the video. But the other thing that we got to look at too is on May 15th, 2022, we had, once again, how's that? We had a blood moon. Now the question is, did God give us this blood moon, which was one day after the anniversary of Israel's birthday? Was this perhaps a 30-day warning? Maybe. Maybe not. I'm just moving my camera a little bit here. Let's see if I go this way. So if I go this way, it's a little bit better, I think. Let me just try to adjust my camera a little bit, okay? So let's go this way a little bit. Okay. Hope I'm not getting you dizzy. Good old tissue. White erase boards are special. I love it. I love white erase boards. Okay? How do you like that, Robert Breaker? Huh? I don't even have to stand up in front of it. I got my own little whiteboard in front of me. I could have my pajamas on, nobody would know. Just me and my white erase board. But you keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a good thing, brother. So, we got two things that seem to be kind of interesting, right? The other thing, too, about this date is that June 15th, we got a full moon going on. And some people believe that in itself is significant. And boy, it's a whopper out there. It's a huge thing. So it must be pretty close to Earth. And if the Lord does come on June 15th, that'd be nice to pass by that big moon in the sky, right? But this is also falling in a time of some other significant events that are going on right now. If you watch Return of the King and some other Watchmen channels, they'll make an argument for this is when the true Pentecost is. Okay? It's true Pentecost is. So that's significant. We just put out a video of 50 reasons why the rapture relates to Pentecost. And it's also Song of Solomon, right? You have this going on this time of year. We have the grapes forming on the vines. We have the green figs forming. And we have the sound of the turtle dove. That's all happens in this springtime. Spring, early summer. At best early summer. So that window's starting to close, right? Oops, sorry, I bumped into the camera. Let me go out a little bit here. Okay. So you got Pentecost, right? Check. Check. You have Song of Solomon that fits that. Check. And you also have the wheat harvest. That's happening. Check. And what's significant about the wheat harvest is the wheat, we read Matthew 13, and you can see that the wheat speaks of, I believe, the believers of the church age. Because Matthew 13 is known as the parables, right? The parables of the kingdom has to do to some pictures of what will take place in Christendom and in the church age, right? So you got the wheat is being harvested, and that relates to Pentecost because you need the wave loaves in order to recognize and celebrate Pentecost. You have Song of Solomon. So what time of year can you fit all three of these together and have harmony with each other? And the answer is, quite simply, it's now. Okay? And because we have a wheat harvest crisis, and that relates so much to that picture in the time with Joseph in Egypt during the 7 years of famine and the 7 years of, 7 years of plenty and the 7 years of famine. Think about it. You got all the stuff that I talked about that's converging. Also, if you want to make an argument that from 2014, 2015, you had those two cows, right? Let's see if I can draw a cow's head. So you have these two bovines. I know it looks like a skull right now, but let me put some ears on it. Snout. Okay, so you got a cow's head. And then you had another cow born about the same time. And one was named Ben, I think, named after Ben Roethlisberger, retired QB for Pittsburgh Steelers. And one had a big fat sort of 7. I don't know if it was just the pattern of the color of the hair on it. One had a big fat 7, and the other one had another 7 on it, but it was kind of thin. And so I know it's a crazy theory, but these two cows, right, had 7s, and they were born about the time of Feast of Trumpets in the year 2014, I believe. And so some wondered that were these two cows a sign that we're going to have 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of want. So if that's the case, 2014, and you add 7 years to this, you got 21. This you'd have 22 if you add 7 years. So you can argue that from 2014 to 2021, or 2015 to 2020, early 2022, let's say, has been economically a great time economically for the world, at least for the industrial capitalist nations. But now we're starting to swing the other way. And if the tribulation period be in 2022 to 2029, let's say, this might be year of famine. 7 years of want. And so what's the subject? Well, wheat is a big part of feeding the world, as well as rice, and wheat, rice, grain. And so back in Joseph's time, 7 years that he stocked up with wheat. So when he went through the 7 years of want and need, famine, there was enough wheat stored to survive it. So the question is it possible from 2022 2029 that this is going to be the 7 years of famine? And if that's the case, I think that builds on the case that the tribulation period would have to be this year. I think it lends itself to that. Okay. So you got that. The other thing is some notable people have said that in 2022, and I know I mess up the spelling of this, is see, I messed it up already. Shemitah. It's a Shemitah year. Okay? And some people believe that if the Shemitah year goes from, does the Shemitah year go and end? Does the Shemitah year end in the fall of this year, as some say? And are people looking at it that the Shemitah year speaks of a year that you could very possibly have the Rapture? And I think Mark Biltz, I say Blitz, but I think it's Biltz. So I'm going to knock over my drink if I push this too much. Mark Biltz says that the first year after Shemitah, some bad things have happened to Israel. Some really significant things have happened to Israel. So if you're big into the Shemitah year, 2022 is significant. And if you could care less about the Shemitah, then you just go like this. You grab your tissue and you rub. And that's what's so wonderful about the whiteboard. Is if you don't like something, you just rub it away. It's gone. See that? See how nice that is? Okay. What else seems to be in play here? What about if you believe in planets, which I do? Planets. Do you believe in planets? Or do you believe in wandering stars, maybe? Okay. But if you believe in planets, what they're saying is that the planets are aligning. How many planets are there? I don't know. I feel sorry for Pluto. Because when I was growing up, Pluto was a planet. Now they're saying I'm not sure what the official title of Pluto is. I'm not sure. Is it called a jumbo rock? Jumbo orb, maybe? Is it a jumbo orb? I don't know, but even Pluto's in on the mix here. Because you have all these planets lined up on one side of the sun, and it's called a planet parade. Okay? And so my hypothesis is that if the king is coming back, are even the planets lined up in attention to pay their respect to the king as he passes by? because this is a pretty unique alignment. Okay? So that's something else to consider. And if you're into celestial signs, because God did make, right, the stars, the moon, and the planets and all that, right? Made comets. But some of the biggest signs in the past decade, Revelation 12 sign and the blood moon tetrad of 14, 15, right? How many years removed is it? How many years removed are these signs from this year? Well, this would be 5 years. And this would be 7 to, let's see, that would be 7 to 6 years. No, I would say 7. Let's see, my math. Because 7 plus 5 is 12. So this would coincide with 2022. And if you add 7 to that, it'd be 2021. So let's just say 21, 22. Oh, boy. Okay. I'm going to move my drink so I could change the perspective of this a little bit better. So I'm going to move my pens and papers out of the way. I'm going to move my nice drink out of the way. See what I did? I put a pineapple in my drink. See that? To just give it a little bit of flavor. Oh, that's so good. I like putting fruit in my water in the summer, in the spring or summer when it's hot. I like to put cucumber. I like to put lemon. I like to put lime, green apple, a strawberry, a piece of pineapple. I haven't tried banana. I don't think that would work well. And maybe, I don't know, what else could go? What else could go in a nice cold drink? Okay. All right, so, how's that? I think you can see that a little bit better, right? All right, so that's 5 years removed, and this is 7 years removed. So let's say, remember we talked about in the video that TOL made, signposts, right? Signs point to something, right? So when the Revelation 12 sign happened and the rapture didn't occur, we came to the conclusion that this sign was pointing to a future event. And when we looked at this, sign 2, we felt that this was pointing to a future event. Now, what if the Lord, and this is, again, what if this is thinking out loud, the Revelation 12 sign served as a 5-year warning, while the blood moon tetrad of 1415 served as a 7-year warning, pointing to the year 2022. Now, 5 is a significant number of scripture because it speaks of what? Grace. God gave us the grace to let us know that in 5 years from now, you're going to have a rapture. What does Revelation 12 sign talk of? The church will be born, completed and born. The dragon will try to snatch away and devour, rather, this completed baby. And then this baby gets harpazoed into heaven, and the woman, or Israel, is taken into the desert to be safe from the dragon. Was that a 5-year warning? And the blood moon tetrad, which again served as a warning, could this be saying that Israel, you have 7 years before the day of Jacob's trouble begins? So that's all question marks. We don't know. It makes sense a little bit, I guess, but we don't know for sure. Okay. Now, before you get antsy, You got to think about this too. All the things that we shared so far, you have to add into the equation this. This current time right now that we live in, we're seeing an economic collapse starting to happen right before us. And I'm not sure how to spell collapse. Is it two L's or one L? Does collapse have two L's or one L, guys? Let me know. Because I don't know. Be quite honest with you. Collapse. All right. So I got it right. All right. Not bad. Not bad, guys. Not bad. So we're seeing right before our eyes an economic collapse. Right? To bring in what? This thing. Okay. So you got that going on. You also have Iran now has the capabilities of nuclear right now. Okay? Iran. Nuclear bomb. You also have Europe is trying to negotiate with Israel for natural gas. See that? Natural gas. And that's going to cause, I think, it's going to cause, hang on one second. Hang on. Don't go nowhere, guys. All right, hang on a sec. I got brown here. So it's going to cause okay. Let's see if we could do this. You know what that is? We're going to do the sickle and the hammer. Right? That's a Russian bear. And the Russian bear is going to get hook in the jaw. Hook in the jaw of the Russian bear. And then Gog and Magog are going to come down to Israel because they're mad at their natural gas that they were supplying and making money from is now they're being replaced by Israel. They're not going to like that. Okay? I know that's not the best beer in the world, but you get the idea. There's a strong possibility here that this could take place very soon, right? Also, sorry, I banged into the camera again. If this is what I think about, so let's try more artwork here. This is a barrel, or actually better known as a powder keg. And this is lit. Okay? So this is the Middle East. And this, see this spark here? The spark is Israel attacking Iran. Okay? When Israel attacks Iran because of the nuclear program, This will light the wick in the Middle East tinderbox, and you're going to get perhaps Psalm 83 War and Isaiah 17, which is Damascus becomes a heap of ruins. And that all could happen now. So, guys, I know I could add more to this. Okay, I could add more to this, but what I want you to consider is this is speculative. This is really speculative. And Rapcon 1 is something that TOL did. Doesn't mean that you need to go sell the farm. But as we look at the rest of this month in June, right? If we get past June and we get into, let's say, August, September, no longer do you have the spring connection or early summer connection. That'll be past. Pentecost will be past. Right? Pentecost will be past. The blood moon that happened on May 15th, it's going to, maybe it meant something, maybe it didn't. There's a lot of things that we talked about this evening on the whiteboard that might not simply line up as well as if things were to happen in June 22. However, we don't want to give up hope because he still could come at any month, any day, any moment. So we keep looking up. But I just want to say, June 22 is a month of great interest. Now, of course, we're not at all trying to be irreverent here. But I want to say, if you're watching, thank you for dealing with my doodling. I hope it's 888s here in attendance, so thank you so much. I'd like to say this, that something wonderful happened 2,000 years ago about. There was a man who was 100% God and 100% man, and his name was Jesus. Do you know that name? Jesus? Do you know Jesus, the Son of God, loved us so much, and he loved you so much. He loved us so much. How much did he love us? He stretched his arms out on the cross to show you how much he loved us. And he shed his precious blood to pay in full the price of our ugly, wicked, vile sin. And what his blood did? His blood washed away our sin. Just like that. His precious blood. Isn't that awesome what his blood did? And guess what? Jesus did. Jesus, the Son of God, on the cross, you know what he did? He did 100% of saving you. He didn't do 99.9999% of saving you. Because if you had to do 0.0001% of your saving, you would be 100% lost in your sin. Got it? Like that math? So Jesus saved you 100%. And here's the amazing thing. When Jesus died, Joseph of Arimathea donated and gave, actually, his very expensive grave which had never been used before. That was designated for him. And they took the body of Jesus and they wrapped him up with loads of spices and they put him in this tomb. And then they took this giant stone, which was probably carved out, giant stone, and they covered the tomb. They covered this tomb and they sealed it. I'm not sure what they used, if they used wax but they sealed it where you could tell if it was tampered with. And they put guards protecting it. And these guards do, if somebody tried stealing the body, it would mean their life. But then an angel came. The angel came. Angel came. See that? Angel came down. And these guys, I'm not sure if they passed out or they ran for cover. And the earth shook. And this stone opened up. And Jesus came out of the grave. He rose again. He came out of the grave. Jesus did. And it's the truth. It's 100% true. And you know what? All we have to do is trust him. He completed the work on the cross. He proved it all by coming back, rose again from the grave. And he ascended to heaven and he's coming back. He's coming back in what we call the rapture. And that's where we're excited because we want to see Jesus again. We want to be with him because we belong to him. This is not our home. My Father's in heaven. My Heavenly Father's in heaven. And Jesus is my Savior. And I want to be where he is because I belong to him. And if you place your faith in Jesus, you belong to him. Right? Hallelujah. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Mr. Spider's here. Okay. See him? Mr. Spider's here. He's nosy. That's what exactly he's doing. He's got a big nose problem. But we're going to let him be. We're going to show him mercy. But he did scare me when I saw him come in my peripheral vision. Okay, so let me see if I could. Because. Okay, there I am. There I am. So I hope you enjoyed that presentation with the whiteboard. And thank you so much for tuning in. What do you guys think about the whiteboard presentation? Should we try it again, or was lousy? Give me some feedback if that was worth doing again, or could I have done just as good a job just talking it through? Seems like the feedback's pretty good here. Okay. Great, guys. Thank you. Just show you this guy here. What do you think of that? Tell me that's not menacing looking. Eesh. Wow. And he's a tiny guy. And I think right now he's just frozen. I'm not sure he knows what to do, but he is just. So I tend to have bug problems in this room in the summer. I will say this is that I hope that the Lord comes for us soon. But I want to end with this is that all the stuff that was presented tonight, there have been times in the past where good men and women of God presented stuff that was even more impressive than this, and the Lord did not come on those times when um, it made sense. See, it makes sense from our vantage point, but we're not sure. As Brother Barry Scarborough says, we see dimly through a glass. So my hope is that he's coming in June 2022. Hey! Did you see what happened there? He went from here to here. Wow, that scared me. But maybe that's a sign. The spider descended, right? So I say we hope, but we're not positive. We're not sure. And you know what? Forgive me, but he's giving me the creed. Oh my goodness. He did a move I've never seen before. What in the world was that? He just like shot himself. I've never seen a spider do that move before. He like he like literally shot himself. I don't know where he is right now. This is crazy. This is outrageous. Where is he? I don't know where he is. I don't know. I gotta leave this room. Guys, so I hope to see you here, there, but especially in the air. God bless.